played Bradford twice. We lost them both, I think.
That's true.
And Saints and Bradford played twice.
Oh, 3 times.
Saints won them all.
Yeah.
I'm going 4.
It's 5.
Ah. Oh.
You were right. You picked your logic was perfect for those 4. The one you missed.
Oh, Saints Hull. Fucking
Saints
hell.
Hull, 2006. That's right.
Yeah.
That's the one. But yeah, I was amazed when I looked at Leeds.
I got it straight away.
Yeah. Leeds Warrington have only played each other once in the grand final. That really surprised me. But yeah, it was 2012. So yeah, there's been 5 unique matches, and obviously 2 of those have been in the most recent, 2 of the 3 most recent finals. So there you go.
Yeah. And if Leeds win, then we'll have another season where 3 different teams have won the 3 trophies.
I would like that, just from a parity point of view.
We didn't get that last year, obviously, but we got that in 2020 when Wigan won the League Leaders' Shield, Leeds won the Cup, and Saints won the Grand Final. In 2019, we didn't get it, did we? Because Saints actually won the League Leaders that year. But prior to that, we had Hull won the Cup, Leeds won the Grand Final, and Cass won in the League Leaders in 2017. In 2018,
it was Catalan in the Cup.
Yep. It was Wigan in the Grand Final. It was it was Saints with the League Leaders' Shield, wasn't it?
There you go. So it does happen more than you think.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Mm.
And we had the Huddersfield winning the League Leaders' Shield in 2011 when Wigan won the Cup and Leeds won the Grand Final.
So yeah,
that was 2011. Warrington obviously have won a few League Leaders' Shields, but haven't won the Grand Final in those years.
I don't think they haven't won it in a cup winning year either, have they? No, they haven't.
No, with
the
the cup winning years, the years where they didn't do as well.
Yeah, I guess it's focused.
Back in 9 and 10. Yeah.
Anyway, you did very, very well, and I hope Bob did well too.
I'm sure he did all right, especially because he only had to remember what we'd already talked about for half of them.
Yeah, but it's just checking that people are paying attention, and that's my excuse.
So we're not going to get to the Super League Awards, are we? Because they started late and we're finishing a bit early, and I'm just Romain Navarrete's going to play for France B to run down his suspension, so it's not just England that are doing it.
So everybody will be doing it. That's for sure.
Yeah, but they've done the celebration of the players who've played over 200 times. It looks like they've included Danny Brough in that this time around, even though he retired 2 years ago, which is weird. I'm just seeing where we're up to. They're not really reporting on it as much because they want you to watch it, don't they?
Yeah.
So we'll stop talking about something that we can't really talk about. Yeah, it says here, we thank some of the great servants play over 200 Super League games who are retiring at the end of 2022. Starts with Danny Brough.
Well, he hasn't played a single minute of rugby all year, so that's a weird.
Or last year.
He played a bit last year, didn't he? For us, not in Super League, obviously.
Oh yeah, no, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he hasn't played a minute this year.
No. Tommy Luluai was obviously another with him. Joel Tompkins, yeah, he retired at the end of last year as well. Maybe they just didn't do this last year. Did they just not do this last year? Maybe because of it was from Brian Carney's front room.
Maybe. At least we haven't got that this year.
Yeah, they've got a proper award ceremony, which is nice. It's a shame though they're not doing what they did when they did it at Salford at the Lowry. That was really good.
Yeah,
when bands
2019.
could go in 2019, but it's a shame that got ended. Matty Smith, he's retiring, isn't he? He's another one that's won a few grand finals.
Indeed.
Matty Smith played for Catalans.
We had this conversation. You had this conversation last week. You literally had the same conversation last week.
This must be my me not feeling very well. Any recommendations, Alan?
I actually was out and about this week, which has been very unusual for me recently. I went to see a gig at Leeds Arena. I went to see a Queen tribute act called Queen Machine, who are Danish, and really, really good, really good gig. Leeds Arena is a fantastic place to see music. I think it's one of the best arenas in the country, I would say. And they were really good. Their lead singer kind of does dress up as Freddie Mercury, but the rest of the band doesn't bother, which is I understand it, because obviously Mercury was famous for his kind of stage costumes where the other members just weren't. So I guess it would look weird if he wasn't, tashed up and leather jacketed. But yeah, the lead guitarist is like a bald guy that looks like he's in a heavy metal band. As good a guitarist as he is, he doesn't look anything like Brian May. But yeah, it was really good. They were very very entertaining, and they had like a symphony orchestra with them, kind of doing background music in some of the songs as well, and they had different kind of vocalists come in and stuff. So yeah, that was really good. And yeah, first time I've been to a gig for many a year. So two-way recommendation: Queen Machine if you ever see them back in the UK. I think they're touring at the moment, and just Leeds Arena as a venue. I think it's I'd say it's best. I think it's the best arena in the country.
What sort of size is it? Is it like a bit smaller than some of the other arenas?
No, the best thing about it is that it's purpose built. It doesn't host other things. So
it's just music concerts, really, or just stage concerts.
It's stage stuff, so it does. So basically, the stage is you're very wherever you are in the arena, you're very close to the stage, because it's basically just banks of seating. There's a tiny what could be a standing area, but it's just like a semicircle in front of the stage, and then the seats just go back from there. So wherever you are, you've got a fantastic view of the act. Whereas I've been to other arenas, places like Cardiff or Manchester, and if you're kind of a fair way back,
it feels like you're far away.
Exactly. So I think it's unique in its shape. It's definitely built for gigs and kind of performances and stuff like that, rather than it being more of a multi-function space. And it's definitely more successful because of that. So yeah, for me, it's a fantastic arena. It was well, it's actually 10 years old, unbelievably.
Wow.
Exactly, it's like. Yeah, I think it might be its official anniversary next year, I think. But yeah, it's been there for 10 years, which blew my mind.
Yeah, I've certainly never been.
It's well worth it.
I did go to the Ritz in Manchester for the first time ever last week, which is a much older building than 10 years. But I'd never seen a gig there before. I don't know why, but it just happened to not be. And I wasn't supposed to see a gig there here, but the gig was moved from the Manchester Albert Hall, where it was originally scheduled to be, I guess because it was postponed last year for COVID. But I went to see Star Sailor doing their Love Is Here tour, so they're basically playing the whole first album,
right,
and then they have a bit of a break and then come back and play like all the other hits as well. But yeah, it was absolutely class. I've never been to a gig before where the whole of an album's been played.
I've been to see the Manic Street Preachers when they played the whole of the Holy Bible. Just the same way they did it in the first half, and then they had a little bit of a break and came back and did greatest hits. Yeah, a whole album is like a unique experience, isn't it? Because you hear oddities and rarities and things that you've never heard live before. So it's a unique experience, and I wish bands would do it more, particularly on anniversaries and stuff like that. I think it's particularly if they're like reissuing an album. I'd like kind of acts to do that a bit more. But yeah, good.
Excellent. If you want to see some Leeds and Saints fans having the piss spoiled, then Matt Peat has been named Coach of the Year. So obviously they disagree with their own coaches, who must have voted for Matt Peat to win Coach of the Year. I think Rowan Smith's going to have to go on our form because
of the transformation that he's performed.
Because he's got them to the grand final now. I think it can't be ignored. But he has transformed a Leeds squad that everyone thought would be in the top 4 into a side that finished 5th. But Matt Peat's turned a side that was fucking miserable to watch last year into one of the best 2 sides to watch in Super League, the best attacking side in Super League. He made some big calls along the way. They might seem like obvious calls now, but they were big calls along the way. He's won a Challenge Cup and he finished 2nd in the league. I think, like, I know that people can make justifiable arguments for Christian Wolf finishing top of the regular season and getting to the grand final again, for Paul Rowley making Salford into way better a side than anyone thought they were going to be, and Rowan Smith, like we just mentioned. But I don't see how anyone can argue with Matt Peat equally.
No, I think the 3-person shortlist was a strong shortlist. They all had strong arguments, and I don't think whoever would have won it, I don't think you could have actually had an argument about. You can prioritise other things, some things over others. But yeah, I mean, Wigan are a night and day to the team that were playing last year, and Matty Peat's a massive part of that, along with the kind of the general coaching staff. So yeah, I have no problem with that.
The other thing to say about Matt Peat is how he's conducted himself.
Yes.
I think everyone who watched his interview with the BBC after the Challenge Cup final will have seen just how humble he is. The way he conducted himself in defeat against Leeds on Friday, he was very gracious in defeat. He was very, complimentary. I think he's been a thoroughly decent guy throughout this year as well. And I think one of the things that goes along with that is it's made it hard for other fans to hate him. They can still hate Wigan, but I think they find it hard to hate Matt Peat. Of course, it doesn't make him hard for them to hate this award, but there you go.
Well, yeah, congratulations to him.
And I think that's as far as we're going to go with those, though. I don't think we're going to get another one before we say goodbye. So next week it's the grand final recap. Get all your fan views in on that, please. What we will want. If Leeds win, we'll need a Leeds fan to join us. If St Helens win, we'll need another Saints fan to join us because David will be joining us anyway. We have had David's son before. I don't know if we should have 2 people who sat next to each other to watch the grand final to then come on and talk about the grand final. I don't know if I could cope with that.
I mean, let's be honest. If Saints win, it's already going to be hard enough for you next week. So. But yeah, well, yeah. So, obviously, it doesn't need to be somebody in the ground. It could be somebody who's watched it on TV. That's just as valid. That's sometimes a different perspective on it, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, but if anyone's interested, put your names forward. I guess people might not want to jinx their team by putting the names forward, but do you know what? It's not really gonna make a difference.
we don't have that much influence. We'd like to think so, but we don't.
Oh, I was going to talk about the referee, wasn't I? Who's going to referee it? We don't know who's going to referee it. But what I was going to say, I didn't want to get too bogged down in it before. But what I was going to say, Alan, is there was one year, I think it was 2010, but it might not have been. But every single Wigan loss one of the years during the successes that we had in the early 2010s, every single defeat was refereed by Phil Bentham, right? It might have been 2012, not 2010, but I can't remember. But anyway, every defeat we had that year, in one of the years, was refereed by Phil Bentham. Now, Wigan didn't lose those games because Phil Bentham hates Wigan. but there must have been something about those games